Anyway, let's start.
Really quick, you guys are going to be helping out the Chestermerians with the 50% break on landfill.
Yeah, it's really the least we could do. There was a lot of assistance from the neighboring communities during our own flood, and when I spoke with the mayor, there were a few things we were able to do to help them out in the immediate response. We sent some trucks over, we helped out with some hoses and things like that, but she suggested that this was one thing that they really wanted, so we're happy to help as much as we can.
Do you guys have any idea how much material might be coming?
I don't think it'll be all that much. I understand there were about 300 houses in Chestermere the day of the first flash flood and fewer than 100 in Langdon, so we should be able to accommodate that without too much trouble.
You talk about the shootings concern that Councillor Jones raised this morning. What have you been involved with?
All I can say is that I regularly meet with the police chief on issues of concern, and obviously this is an issue of concern, but I'm very confident that our police service understands this stuff really well. We've been through this before, and that they're doing the right thing. No, you can ask anything you want in question period, as we do.
Is that a great concern, though, that with what's been happening with these events, that maybe somebody could just be targeted?
No, I'm really glad you asked that. Let's not forget something. Violent crime rates in Calgary remain the lowest they've been in a generation. This is an extraordinarily safe city, and every single neighborhood in this city is extraordinarily safe. There is not one street in this city that I would be scared to walk down by myself in the middle of the night. It is an extraordinarily safe place. But that also means that when we have incidents like this, people really notice. I remember an American visitor saying to me once, "Oh, you put shootings in the newspaper. That's cute." In reality, though, it means we take them very, very, very seriously. And the police know precisely what they're doing, but no one needs to be worried. This is a safe place. In fact, one of the questions I had for the chief was, what percentage of the violent crimes that we have seen so far in 2015 has been non-targeted? People who were not targeted because of other activity that they were engaged in, and the number is very, very low.
Looking forward to the fall, what do you think the biggest issue in the federal election is going to be coming up? You said transportation, city issues. Do you really think those will be the dominant issue, and if so, what?
I've almost been a little bit surprised at how much the truth that I've been telling for the last few years has actually been heard by people, which is that forget that it's the right thing to do, forget that it's the right thing for the majority of the population of this country who live in cities. 80% of us live in cities, but it's also politically the right thing to do. Whoever gets cities right, and particularly whoever gets transit and housing right, gets to be Prime Minister. And I've actually appreciated the fact that the different parties are tripping over themselves to get transit right. We even have the Conservatives who for a long time said there was no permanent federal role in cities at all, and certainly not in public transit, announcing a permanent public transit fund. And I look forward to seeing what Mr. Trudeau and Mr. Mulcair come up with to beat that. So I'm happy to be on the stage here. The Federation of Canadian Municipalities is hosting a debate, and I understand that all party leaders, with the exception of the Prime Minister, have agreed to attend that debate. So, and there will be a debate here in Calgary where, if I'm invited, we will raise issues of cities. So I think it's going to be very much front and center during the election campaign.
Can I your thoughts on the province putting out this RFP for the studies on the Bow and the Elbow Rivers report by March of 2017?
Seems a bit long to me, but I haven't had the chance to have a conversation with the Minister of the Environment on this specific RFP yet. However, we've recently completed this kind of work, which has to do a lot with flood mapping and looking at how floods impact us for the city of Calgary. My understanding is that the RFP is to take the city of Calgary's work and expand it to outside of the city's borders, which is work that needs to be done anyway.
Wouldn't you want to see projects under construction, though, by 2017?
Oh, I would suspect that this will not slow down the stuff that's already underway. This is about future stuff, and that's certainly what I will continue to advocate for.
It was reported last week that Calgary Police Service was seriously looking at purchasing software that would allow investigators to remotely hack into cell phones and computers. Do you have any concerns about police looking at that?
Well, as you know, the police report to the Calgary Police Commission. I think it's inappropriate for politicians to comment on their operational issues, but I will note my understanding is they didn't end up buying it, and I'm sure that a lot of the concerns that others have raised are the concerns that hit them as well.
But they didn't purchase that particular, but they didn't answer whether they had purchased anything else.
I noticed that myself.
Would you like to chat about the credit rating a bit?
Oh my goodness, yes I would.
There you are. So the fact it's being held, what does that signify plenty of.
Oh, this is very, very big news and very good news that as governments across the country are starting to run into trouble with borrowing, with debt capacity, and with credit, the fact that our credit rating has been affirmed as amongst the very best of municipal governments in Canada. And if you read what the credit rating agency said, you'll see that they say that our level of debt is prudent, that they're not that concerned about the economic slowdown in Calgary as it appears to the corporation of the City of Calgary. It's very good news, and it really highlights the fact that we're very, very thoughtful and prudent in terms of how we manage our budget. We never run an operating deficit. We only take on long-term debt when there is a source to pay back that debt, which is not the property tax base. I think these are the right things to do. That's what I've been doing since I've been mayor and what this council has been doing, and we'll continue on that path.
Does that suggest you can bring up the credit card a little more, or does it mean that we're basically going to stick with the plan with
No,
no
what
risk?
it says is steady as she goes, that the work we're doing makes sense, that the level of debt we're holding is appropriate for the risk that we're taking for an organization of this size. And again, the only way we're increasing debt, the same as since I've been mayor, we will borrow if there are sources to pay the money back that is not the property tax. And there may well be conversations with both the federal and provincial governments about exactly that as it relates to major transit investments. Okay, thanks everyone. Thank you, sir.